Please be seated. So that vision of life that we heard about in Acts is pretty stunning, isn't it? Everyone working together with a common purpose, sharing goods, needs met, goodwill among all with glad and generous hearts. When was the last time you experienced something like that? I mean, not that exactly necessarily, but something close. Maybe it was a game night or a shared meal where no one checked their phone. Maybe it was a conversation that went someplace real, that opened up curiosity and connection rather than devolving into debate and cynicism. Maybe it was coming together to do something meaningful, providing mutual aid somewhere, something where what mattered was showing up and not keeping score. We've all had those exceptional moments, haven't we? But the stunning thing about this Acts reading is that Luke says it is not exceptional. The disciples are not at a retreat center somewhere. It's not once in a while, it's day by day, he says. Day by day, they are living with glad and generous hearts in their ordinary lives. Now, we know what that's like, but it seems exceptional to us, doesn't it? Why? Because something is always sneaking in to steal it. Very truly, I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. Who or what is Jesus talking about here? Who are the thieves and bandits that climb in and pillage this shared vision from Acts? Does anyone remember the bizarre 1960s British sci-fi spy drama, The Prisoner? All right? Where the main character is trapped in the village and everyone is a number, right? You are number 6. And the shadowy tech overlords are constantly trying to extract information from him. Well, I've been rewatching it recently, and it is creepy how contemporary it feels. Because the village is even more omnipresent now than it was back then, because we've all been reduced to numbers and metrics, to clicks and likes and credit scores and GPAs and ROIs and average Sunday attendance figures. And all of those metrics started off merely as a way of measuring an actual thing, right? A relationship, a sense of well-being, a sense of curiosity. But then the metrics became things themselves, and then they started replacing the real thing, and they became the thing that's important, the thing that is real. They stole in, snuck over the wall, slipped through a gap in the fence, and replaced our glad and generous hearts with something else. Gig work promised flexibility and opportunity, but has delivered lower pay and has stripped away protections that workers have spent generations fighting for. Right? We all wanted all of our children to have a good education, but then No Child Left Behind metrics incentivized teach-to-test methods that diminished education across the board and disproportionately harmed students of color, students with learning disabilities, students whose first language isn't English. We were told that an injection of private equity would give us an efficient, modern healthcare system, but that has resulted in compromised patient safety, declining health outcomes, shuttered hospitals, and higher costs for everyone. That is not in any way an exhaustive list, I'm sure you know, and you can probably come up with some on your own. The point is that time and time again, the script has been flipped to the point where the ones who Jesus calls sheep, the ones who are just looking to go in and out of the gate safely, looking for pasture, looking for a decent life, they're the ones who get called thieves and bandits, while the ones who have climbed in by another way are lauded for their ruthlessness and efficiency. It happens time and time again. The thieves come in by another way. You probably joined social media because that's where your friends were or to connect with people, but you quickly discovered how easy it is to get obsessed with likes and follows. You may have wanted to pursue learning purely for its own sake, but you found instead a lot of pressure to focus on grade point averages and school rankings. And did anyone ever, anywhere, start out caring about their credit score? I doubt it. What you cared about was financial security and just trying to make ends meet. The point is, we live in a global village of extractive systems, constantly seeking other ways in. And they have to find other ways in because if they tried to come in through the gate, if they tried to come in through transparency and accountability, through community consent, through mutual relationships, through a true democratic process, they would be turned away. So they have to climb in by another way to steal our glad and generous hearts. And Jesus reminds us that the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, but I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. How do you quantify that? What metric or app that you can slap on your wrist could possibly measure glad and generous hearts? The life that Jesus offers is overflowing, and it is by definition unquantifiable. The life that Jesus leads us to is one with green pastures and clean waters, a place where souls are revived and tables are spread and cups runneth over, where the shepherd calls each of us by name, not by number. Overflowing, generous, abundant life. That's the actual thing that we want. That's what we were always trying to live and work for. But the simplified, easily measurable, efficient metrics and algorithms keep stealing in and taking over. And again, what's stunning about the Acts reading is how similar it is to today. The disciples are living in the midst of a horribly extractive domination system. The resurrection didn't make Rome suddenly disappear, right? Jesus threw the money changers out of the temple, but they climbed right back over the wall. The hucksters and the false prophets are still all around us. What's different in the Acts reading is how the disciples engage with that world. They are living that abundant life because they are choosing to practice it every day by showing up, by praying, by sharing, and by following the one who calls them by name. Those are not the things you do to up your spiritual karma score. Those are the gritty, real, everyday practices that are necessary to support the abundant life of the whole flock and resist the efforts of the thieves who continue to climb in all around. That is what living an abundant life means. It means choosing every day to know the people around you by name, by who they are, and not just by what they produce or how much they make. It means showing up. It means choosing to show up, choosing to give, choosing to share, to advocate, to act in ways that prioritize the community's health and well-being over any one individual's self-interest. Day by day, with glad and generous hearts. Friends, that is not a fluffy, sheepish sentiment. That is a real, unsentimental practice that we must choose over and over and over again as we follow where our shepherd leads. Amen.